There were some NVIDIA shenanigans this week. The GPU formerly known as RTX 4080 12 gig is back. Now it's the 4070 Ti, and it still hates your wallet with a passion. Historically accurate leaker, Copite 7 Kimi, gave details about the new 4070 Ti. When the 4080 12 gig was announced in September, the card was panned for its approximately 30% lower performance than the 4080 16 gig. After criticism, NVIDIA canceled the 12 gig card, but made no comment about the fate of the AD104 GPU that it was built around. So, the 4070 Ti is rumored to have the same 7680 CUDA cores and 12 gigs of 192-bit GDDR6X. And while it was originally expected to have a $900 MSRP, the recent announcement of the RX 7900 XT may cause NVIDIA to reconsider this price. Though, they have to be careful right now not to cannibalize their 3000 series cards that they seem to still have a lot of stock of. So then this 4070 non-Ti is expected to be based on this same core, but likely not the full version of it. And both are expected to release, so 4070 Ti and non-Ti, in January 2023. In other news, the RTX 4080 16 gig appears to be around the corner. Prices currently range from $1,200 to $1,550 at Micro Center, who has 13 listings of custom cards up. That's based on an MSRP of $1,200. NVIDIA requested that all board partners should have at least one model at MSRP available at launch, and this is really interesting. So that's an interesting bullet point. So remember when EVGA publicly broke up with NVIDIA recently? Yeah, I was already aware of NVIDIA's little requests to their board partners to have something available at MSRP at launch. So you know how that works? That whole thing?
Wouldn't that mean that they make nothing?
Well, okay, so they make nothing at launch. So you know how it would always happen that at launch there would be like an 8800 KO or whatever. There'd be a particular version. It would have like 2 fans, and then you would order that, and it would be on back order forever. But the super clock and super clock and KO plus and whatever FTW would all be in stock. And then the computer store would call you and say, hey, would you like to switch to one of these other cards? It's another 30 or 40 bucks.
Yeah.
That's how they would handle that, because NVIDIA's pricing, the MSRPs that they get to advertise to you, the end user, are not real. They don't actually have enough margin in them for the board partners to hit those prices in the long term. So board partners would quietly discontinue that particular RTX or GTX, whatever, and then they'd have these other ones later on when NVIDIA is willing to turn a blind eye. So guys, keep a close eye over the next 6 months on 4080 16 gig cards, and watch. Those MSRP boards that are available will slowly start to drop away, being replaced by ones that cost another $50, $100, $150 more. And I don't blame the board partners. I for real do not blame the board partners. There's a third rumor, more NVIDIA shenanigans. The RTX 2060 has apparently been discontinued. According to a Chinese tech forum post citing supply chain sources, both the RTX 2060 and 2060 Super will shortly be discontinued. GPUs for these boards have stopped reaching partners, apparently. So, yeah, if the price is rumored to be the same for the 4070 Ti, okay, and the GPU is the same, should we still be just as mad now that they've given it a new name?
Well, isn't the name better?
I guess the name is better, but it's still 30% less performance than a 4080 16 gig for $900.
Oh yeah, it's complete BS. I would have said that this feels like a move by NVIDIA to push the below 80 bracket closer to $1,000 if it was premeditated. Because it's not premeditated, I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
Doesn't seem to be 4D chess at all. That's honestly, I'm getting real disillusioned lately. There's been so many times I see moves from like big corporations who probably have a lot better of a PR department than I do. You know, a lot more lawyers, a lot more accountants and advisors, and I see them doing stuff, and it kind of, you know, when you're young, I feel like you've got faith in the system a little bit, you know? Like, smart people, competent people with a good vision for the future and a good team around them are the ones doing stuff and making decisions and you know, making sure that keeping the barbarians, you know, off our shores or whatever. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's really quite a disappointing moment when you grow up to the point where you realize that all the old people are just as stupid as you are.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Because half the time I don't feel like I know what's going on, but then I look at our success and I kind of go like, man, so even though we have like, internally, I feel like we got a lot of problems, you know, and yet somehow our execution gets us as far as we've gotten. And it just has shaken my belief. Okay. It's shaken my trust that people know what they're doing. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that. Did Linus just dunk on his own PR team? We don't have one. That's the joke.
Yeah.